Today I'm going to show you an easy office makeup routine using only my favorite affordable drugstore products. Let's get started. I always like to start with skincare because, as we know, beautiful makeup really begins with beautiful skin prep. First, I go in with the Versed Barrier Cream. I apply it all over the face, making sure to really hydrate under the eyes since that's a problem area for me personally, and it's an area where makeup can look textured really fast if the skin there is dry. Next, I apply sunscreen, and because this one is a chemical sunscreen, I let it fully dry down for about 15 minutes before applying makeup. I know that can sound like a very long time to wait, especially in the morning when you're in a rush. You wash your face, you apply your moisturizer and sunscreen, and then you go get dressed, make your coffee, do your hair. By the time you're ready for your makeup, your sunscreen has had enough time to set properly and dry down. Today, while I was letting the skincare dry down a bit more, I actually decided to start with brows. My absolute favorite way to do brows right now is with the L'Oreal Faux Brow Pen. It has these two ultra skinny prongs that do an incredible job of sketching in very fine hair-like strokes. As a heads up, this pen definitely has a learning curve, and I have learned that from many of my friends who have purchased it on my recommendation and even from my comments section. If you press too hard, the strokes get very thick and very dark. So very light pressure is key. Once I've done both brows that way, I go to the top of the brows where the hairs naturally grow downward, and I fill in any small gaps there as well, drawing the strokes in the same direction as the hair grows. To finish it off, I like to laminate the hairs with a brow gel. This keeps everything looking really fluffy and very polished all day long. I love the L'Oreal brow gel because, in my opinion, it has the perfect balance of being firm enough to hold the hairs in place, but not so firm that the brows look stiff or crunchy. Next up is Complexion. Today I am using the L'Oreal True Match Nude, which is genuinely one of my favorite skin tints of all time. I've had it forever. The formula is perfection. It's so beautiful. It's so flattering on the skin. When it comes to foundation or skin tint, I always apply it to the back of my hand or onto a mixing palette first. Then I pick it up with my complexion brush, work it into the bristles, and then I put it on my face. Pre-blending like this gives a much more seamless airbrush application. Try it at least once. You will be shocked at how much better everything melts into the skin. Wherever I want the coverage to stay sheer and skin-like, I use sweeping motions, and then wherever I want a little more coverage, I switch to stippling and pressing the product into the skin. That combination of sweeping and pressing keeps the base looking very natural but still even. Before we keep going, I just wanted to mention something. Almost 79% of the people who watch my channel aren't currently subscribed. This year, I have a big goal of hitting 1 million subscribers, the ultimate bragging rights for my kids. So if you are enjoying this routine, please do consider subscribing and helping us reach that milestone. Let's move into color corrector and concealer next. For this step, I'm using the Milani Brightening Eye Tint, and I really love this product for everyday wear. It has a peach undertone, which works beautifully in this area for most people, but the key thing is that it's very sheer and slightly glowy. It doesn't have a crazy amount of coverage or anything, but it does brighten without doing all the annoying things that heavier under eye products tend to do, like looking dry or emphasizing fine lines or creasing up. I actually use this a lot on no makeup days, but I also find it works really well under concealer to subtly balance darkness without adding heaviness. On top of that, I'm applying this under eye concealer from Revlon. I love the formula of this product, but I do find that the sponge tip applicator can be a little too heavy directly under the eyes. So again, I apply it onto my mixing palette first. I blend it into a brush, and then I apply it only where I actually need brightening. Then I blend everything out using stippling motions. Whatever I have left over on my brush, I then lightly sweep across the eyelids to even out discoloration in a very natural way. For powder, I am using the Maybelline Loose Finishing Powder, which is one of my favorite drugstore loose powders ever. I press this in with a puff to set and control oil in all of my shiny areas. Even though I do love this powder on the face, I personally don't love how it looks under the eyes because I still find it a bit too heavy there. So for the under eyes, I do things a little differently. I let everything fully dry down first, and then I gently stipple and smooth out anything that started to crease. If there's excess product settling into the lines, I take a Q-tip and I remove it first. And then once everything looks smooth, I go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder instead of the Maybelline one. This powder is very finely milled and has a very subtle kind of illumination quality to it, which I find actually looks really beautiful under the eyes. I did a whole video where I tested all these different powders under my eyes to set concealer, and this one came out on top. Now I'm gonna add a bit of bronzer because it has been a very long winter so far, and I personally have absolutely no color on my face right now. I feel so so pale. A true makeup artist staple bronzer is the L'Oreal Infallible Bronzer. This is one of those products that performs just as well as high-end bronzers. The formula is smooth, it's flattering, very forgiving on the skin. It's amazing. For application, I like using my Rephr 05 brush. It has really soft, fluffy bristles, so the bronzer doesn't go on too strong and everything just blends out very seamlessly. In terms of placement, I stick to an E formation. I hit the forehead, the tops of the cheekbones, and then I lightly sweep along the jawline. It warms up the face without looking very overdone or heavy. I also like to run that same bronzer with a crease brush along the crease of my eyes and then slightly down the sides of the nose for a very subtle contour effect. It adds definition, but still keeps everything looking really soft and cohesive. Let's move into eyes. For a quick makeup look, I highly recommend playing with a one and done eyeshadow stick. This one from L'Oreal is phenomenal. I use it almost every single day. The way that I do it is I roughly apply the cream shadow right at the base of the lash line, and then while it's still wet and emollient, I take my flat brush and I buff it up into the lid. As you can see, you get instant definition, but in a very daytime appropriate way. As a heads up, the more product you apply, the smokier this is gonna get. So if you wanna keep it wearable for the office, start close to the lash line and blend upward. Don't go too heavy-handed right away. It's much easier to build than to take away. I personally also like adding a bit of shading under the eyes because it helps camouflage some of the fine lines that I have there. So for that, I take that same shadow, I apply it to a pencil brush, and then I lightly sweep it under the lash line. I don't apply it directly from the stick under the eyes because I find it goes on too strong that way. Applying it to the brush first gives you much more control. It's similar to how we applied the foundation earlier. Then I deepen the lash line with a dark brown liner, and while it's still workable, I smudge it out using that same pencil brush. To finish, I apply several coats of mascara to both the top and the bottom lashes. Before we move on, I want to show you something new that I've been loving. This is actually a heated eyelash curler from Amazon, and it's amazing. Traditional lash curlers can sometimes pull up my eyeliner, which I really don't like. So whenever I'm doing a look that's mostly liner based, I always reach for this instead. I like setting it to the highest heat setting, and then I just gently run it along the lashes while pulling them upwards. It lifts better than anything that I've ever used before. I'll leave it linked in the description box below because it's honestly incredible and it's very under the radar. Next is lips, and I want to show you this nude but defined combination that I absolutely love right now. I'm starting with the Maybelline Lifter Liner in the color Player. For work, I want my lips to last and look defined, but I do not want them to feel overdone. So instead of fully outlining the mouth, I only line the top of the Cupid's bow and the center of the bottom lip, and then I softly fill in that whole area with the liner. Lip liners are waxier and they're much harder to break down than lipsticks, so doing this extra step really helps everything wear longer throughout a busy work day. On top of that, I'm applying this Maybelline lip balm in the color Caramel Glow. And as you can probably tell by how well loved this tube is, it's a color that I use constantly. I actually keep it in my purse. It has a really nice nude quality without pulling too brown. The formula is quite sheer actually, so if you want a bit more structure or definition, pairing it with a lip liner like this makes a big difference. For cheeks, I am using this liquid blush from L'Oreal, and again, you'll notice the same pattern here. I always apply cream products onto the back of my hand first or onto a mixing palette. I work the product into the bristles of my brush, and then I stipple it onto the skin. I never go directly from the tube to the cheek. Finally, I'm finishing everything off with the L'Oreal Setting Mist. My days get very busy very quickly between work, the kids, and all of the after-school activities. I really don't want to think about touching up my makeup throughout the day at all. A setting spray like this is amazing for longevity because it actually contains ingredients that form a light film over the skin so the makeup can't budge or move. A bonus tip before we wrap up: if you have a lot of flyaways like I do, I found this product from Day that is so good. The only way to describe it is it's sort of like if a conditioner and a mascara had a baby. It feels creamy like a conditioner, but it holds like a mascara. I use it all the time, especially on work days, and it really does make a difference in how polished and professional everything looks. It's one of those small finishing touches that just quietly elevates everything. Here's the finished look. Nothing heavy, nothing overdone, just balanced, polished, and wearable. I hope this gave you a few ideas that you can actually use in your day-to-day routine. Up next on the channel, watch another office makeup look using more mid-range products, or keep exploring by watching what YouTube recommends for you here. I'll see you over there.